everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today I am doing a 31 on 31. That is when I rank 31 movies on the 31st of the month. And I'm renovating tomorrow as of when I'm filming this. And this used to be where I had all my Funkos and all of that you would see in the background. Well, yeah, we officially cleaned it all up. Anyways, 31 on 31. Today's 31 on 31. I'm ranking the Mission Impossible movies, the Star Wars movies, the Top Gun movies, and then the Knives Out, Godfather, and Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, before I give you my ranking, feel free to share your ranking down below in the comments. And let's begin. Now, coming in last place for me is Mission Impossible 2. This is the only movie on this list I actively dislike. And I don't feel like this movie even knows what it wants to be. And do you agree, Scott? I thought was a horrible villain, and the virus plotline was not good. The romance was bad. It's like there was some cool action, but overall, I do not like this film, and it is easily in last place. Now, coming in at number 30 for me is Solo. I mean, Solo was decent. Like, I don't think there's that much completely wrong with it, but there really isn't just anything about this that completely stands out for me. It's like, I mean, Alden Ehrenreich did fine as Han Solo. I did like Donald Glover quite a bit as Lando. And the Castle Run stuff was cool. Darth Maul and this was cool. But, I mean, overall, not really a fan of the villain or the robot. So it's like, I mean, it's a decent movie, but overall, I don't really ever go back to this. Now, coming in at number 29 is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, this is easily my least favorite of the Skywalker saga. And there is a lot to like about this movie. I thought the final battle on Geonosis was cool. The stuff with, like, Jango Fett was cool. And Detective Obi-Wan on Kamino was cool. However, my main problems are obviously the terrible romance between Anakin and Padme. And that Count Dooku doesn't really show up until over an hour in this film. So it's like, while this movie has a lot of good moments, it is one of the weaker films on this list overall. Now, coming in at number 28 is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, The Phantom Menace has one of my 3 favorite lightsaber duels the Duel of the Fates between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul. And the pod racing stuff was cool. John Williams' score is cool. I do like Qui-Gon quite a bit in this, and Darth Maul was cool. But, obviously, my main problems are Jar Jar Binks, who is just one of the worst characters in cinema, honestly. Definitely the worst character in Star Wars. And also the politics stuff on Coruscant I didn't find very interesting. So, it's like, while there is a lot of good moments, it is still very low on this list. Now, coming in at number 27 is The Mandalorian Grogu movie. So, yes, 4 Star Wars movies in my bottom 5 on this list. And it's like Mandalorian Grogu, I liked this movie. I did enjoy it quite a bit. However, I do feel like this is one of the safer films on this list. And also, it's like, while I did enjoy the film, it definitely felt like a few episodes of the TV show. And not necessarily the best ones, like really good ones, but not the best ones just crammed into a movie. Now, the stuff with Mandalorian Grogu was, fun to watch. It's like, I do enjoy this film. I've seen it twice in theaters, and I'm happy with this film. I wasn't annoyed, but overall, it is still one of my least favorites on this list. Now, coming in at number 26 is Top Gun. I like Top Gun. I don't love Top Gun. I definitely like its sequel a lot more, as you'll see. And there is a lot to enjoy about Top Gun. Of course, I love Tom Cruise. So it's like, even though I really didn't like Mission Impossible 2, Tom Cruise is still undeniably a standout. And the action was cool. Val Kilmer was really good in this. And, Goose's death was really sad. But it's like, overall, I just don't feel like this film has aged very well. It's like, while I still think it's a good movie, it's not really a film I go back to, so it is one of the least favorites on this list. Now, coming in at number 25 is Rogue One. Now, a few years ago, this probably would have been a few spots lower, but I have grown on Rogue One over the years. And while it's definitely not one of my favorite movies on this list, the final battle on Scarif was amazing. The Darth Vader stuff was awesome. But overall, the first 2/3 for me was just alright. It's like, I didn't really care about a lot of the characters in this film. Now, I still need to finish Andor. I will probably try to do that this summer. But it's like, overall, while I like Rogue One, it is definitely still one of my least favorite movies on this list. Now, coming in at number 24 is the original Mission Impossible. Now, the original Mission Impossible movie is a very fun movie. I love how it subverted expectations in the first 30 minutes. And it was amazing, honestly, for the first two-thirds. I do think the final battle was a bit of a weak point of the film. And, I mean, Jon Voight was not particularly a great villain. So it's like, the first Mission Impossible is actually a great movie. Like, I actually think everything from 24 to 1 is great. It's just, compared to everything else on this list, it is still at my number 24 spot. But I still do like the first Mission Impossible quite a bit. Now, coming in at number 23 is Mission Impossible 3. I do think it has the best villain in the franchise with Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I do love how this is also one of the more personal Mission Impossible films. Now, it is honestly, though, the only Mission Impossible film that doesn't have, like, a standout moment in this sense. But it doesn't have anything that would be among my least favorite moments in the franchise either. So yeah, overall, I do like Mission Impossible 3 quite a bit. However, I do like the other 22 more. Now, coming in at number 22 is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Definitely the best of the prequels. And it is a great movie overall. I mean, the lightsaber duels in this were awesome. I do love Palpatine in this. The Order 66 stuff was great. The music was great. However, even with all this amazing stuff, the reason it still is only number 22 is I, first off, still think the dialogue sucks. I thought Padme's death was terrible. And honestly, Anakin's turn I thought was pretty rushed. So, while I do like Revenge of the Sith quite a bit, I do like the other 21 movies on this list more, because even though it has all these highlight moments, I still can't really ignore some of its glaring shortcomings. So it's like, I do still like it quite a bit, but it is number 22 on the list. Now, coming in at number 21 is Godfather 3. And I feel like a lot of people would probably put this towards the bottom. And while it's not even in my top half, I do think Godfather 3 does get way too much hate. I mean, of course, it's nowhere near as good as the first two. However, I still really like Godfather 3. I actually think Al Pacino's performance in this was his best performance I've seen from him. Like, I genuinely liked him more in this than I did in the first two Godfather movies. Also, Andy Garcia I really liked in this. And I do think there were still a lot of stuff in this that did tie a nice bow on the trilogy. Now, of course, Sofia Coppola in this was not very good. And also, the whole incel plot, realistically, between Andy Garcia and Sofia Coppola, I found to be very off-putting. However, I still do like more in Godfather 3 than I have problems with. And I do think Michael Corleone got the ending he deserved. So, Godfather 3, while it's definitely a very flawed movie, and it's kind of a shame that we couldn't close out what I thought was pretty much a perfect trilogy at this point, it's still a great movie. Like, Godfather 3 is still better than what most people could do on their best days. So it's still a movie I love, despite some of its shortcomings. Now, coming in at number 20, for me, is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Now, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation introduced Ilsa, who is one of my favorite characters in the franchise. And I thought first 30 minutes with, like, Ethan Hunt hanging off the side of the plane was sick. The opera scene was awesome. The chase scenes in the middle was great. Now, I don't necessarily think Solomon Lane is that great of a villain. And I do think the movie peaked early. But overall, it's still an amazing movie. Now, coming in at number 19 is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which I always prefer slightly over Rogue Nation, partially because of the Burj Khalifa stuff, which, the Burj Khalifa scene is one of the best moments in, honestly, cinema. It's just pretty amazing. I do think Jeremy Renner was a really good addition to the franchise. Now, it does have one of the weaker villains in the franchise, which Mission Impossible I don't really think is known for its villain. Like, I think they only have 3 great villains in the franchise. And also, I do think the movie still peaked early, but overall, it doesn't change the fact that Ghost Protocol is still an amazing movie. Now, coming in at number 18 is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now, I do really like The Force Awakens. I definitely think it played it safe a bit, but overall, I thought it was a good introduction to the trilogy. I really just liked being back in the world of Star Wars after, well, even though I was only 7 when this came out, it would have been the first Star Wars movies in 10 years. I really liked the introduction to all the characters in this. I really liked Rey in this. I thought she had a good introduction. Realistically, the first third of this movie is just all great filmmaking, introducing each of the characters. I thought Kylo Ren was absolutely amazing in this entire trilogy. And I thought Han Solo's death, while it was definitely very sad, I do think it was great for Kylo Ren's character. And I definitely liked the cliffhanger with Luke. I really do like this movie. And it's like, while it definitely played it safe a bit, it doesn't change the fact I still really like this movie. Now, coming in at number 17 is Top Gun Maverick. I really like Top Gun Maverick. I think it's leagues better than the first film. And I definitely do like the first film, but I thought Maverick was even better. Sure, you could argue it does a lot of the same stuff as the first film, but I liked it more than the first film. I thought Rooster was a great addition to the franchise, and I thought Iceman's death was really sad, but it was really great for Maverick's character. And overall, Top Gun Maverick is just an absolute blast, and I love the final battle in this. And yeah, and Tom Cruise just did an amazing job in this. Now, coming in at number 16 is Knives Out. I mean, Knives Out is just an amazing movie, and I like it even more knowing where the trilogy ended off. And I mean, I thought the ensemble in Knives Out was just great. I just love Rian Johnson as a director, and I think, this movie is just so entertaining, start to finish. Overall, Knives Out is just an absolute blast. My only criticism of the first one is I kind of feel like Chris Evans should have had more screen time, given that he was the killer. Overall, though, I still love Knives Out. Now, coming in at number 15 is Glass Onion, which I definitely prefer slightly over the original. I loved Glass Onion, and I loved Edward Norton in this. I, of course, loved Daniel Craig. And just like the first one, the ensemble is great, and the final 45 minutes gives me goosebumps. So yeah, I do like Glass Onion slightly more than the original Knives Out, but they're still both amazing movies. Now, coming in at number 14 is Star Wars Episode 6, Return of a Jedi, which the final 45 minutes with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor in the final space battle was all excellent, and they would honestly be kind of peak cinema. And I do think Luke's arc in this was just great. Jabba's palace was pretty good. Now, I don't love the Ewoks in this, but overall, even though I don't love the Ewoks, that doesn't change the fact that I still think it's a very satisfying conclusion to the original trilogy. Now, coming in at number 13 is Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. New Hope completely just redefined cinema, and from the opening scene to the end, the movie's just a great hero's journey with Luke's journey, the introduction to Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Darth Vader was just great. I also loved Alec Guinness as Ben Kenobi in this. And the trench run on the Death Star is still my favorite space battle in Star Wars. And also the binary sunset scene gives me chills. So yeah, A New Hope is a great introduction. Sure, there are some things that don't hold up, but overall it doesn't change the fact it's still an amazing movie. Now, coming in at number 12 is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, I know this is going to probably annoy a lot of people, but I absolutely love this movie. I absolutely love how Rian Johnson did something unique and different with the franchise, and I absolutely love what they did with Luke. I love how they didn't just do the predictable thing and just have him be all so powerful. I love how they gave him a lot more depth in this film and made him a lot more relatable. I think The Last Jedi made Luke a lot better of a character, and I absolutely loved his arc, and I loved how by the end he saved the Resistance and sacrificed himself while hurting nobody. And I absolutely loved the Kylo Ren and Rey dynamic in this. I thought it was definitely a highlight of the trilogy. And I absolutely love the throne room sequence in this. And I think this movie is just also visually stunning. So yeah, this movie is an amazing movie. And while Canto Bight still sucks, doesn't change the fact I still love this movie. And it is my 12th favorite film on this list. Now coming in at number 11 is Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Now this movie is definitely my least favorite of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That doesn't change the fact I still think this is an amazing movie. And while I think, some of the stuff with the middle, excluding the Frodo, Sam, and Gollum stuff, could definitely drag on a bit. The opening third was amazing, and the Battle of Helm's Deep is one of my favorite final battles. So, yeah, Lord of the Rings: Two Towers is an amazing movie. It's definitely my least favorite Lord of the Rings trilogy. Doesn't change the fact that it's still an incredible film. Now, coming in at number 10 is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And similar to The Last Jedi, I feel like a lot of the annoyance of my ranking will definitely come from displacement. And I know this film is definitely very unpopular. I know a lot of people would probably put this towards, if not at the bottom. And while I could kind of see why, I definitely don't agree. And I do think this did close out the Skywalker saga really well, which I know is definitely a hot take, but I really was satisfied with how this film ended up. I really love Kylo Ren's redemption in this. I thought his whole redemption arc was beautiful. And the scene with Kylo Ren and Han Solo is one of my favorite moments in the franchise. I honestly liked Rey the most in this. I think I liked her more with each entry in the trilogy. And this is really the only time in a trilogy where Rey, Poe, and Finn all were together, as obviously Poe and Finn were split up in The Force Awakens, and Rey was split up for them for most of The Last Jedi. And it's like, I do think their banter in this was really nice. And overall, I also don't mind Palpatine's return. Now, Palpatine is also my favorite character in the franchise, but I think given the fact that he's the most powerful user in the galaxy who knows how to cheat death, I do think it also kind of pays off his Darth Plagueis line in Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, overall, I love this movie, and even though I think it could definitely be choppy at times, doesn't change the fact I still love the movie, and it is my number 10 film on the list. Now coming in at number 9 is Wake Up Dead Man. And this film was a film that I was definitely excited for because I loved Rian Johnson in the first two Knives Out movies. However, I wasn't over the moon excited. But I was just going into this movie thinking, I love the first two Knives Out. Let's just hope we can at least make another solid entry. And as great as the first two Knives Out films are, I think this film was leaps and bounds better than the first two. I just love the complexity to this film. I feel like this film was really unpredictable. And it's funny, because in the first third, I thought, this movie's fun and all, but it's like, do I really think it's going to be better than the first two? But the last two thirds were just something else. And Glenn Close's acting in this was absolutely phenomenal. And I love Daniel Craig the most in this one. And yeah, this film I just thought was incredible. And I think it was an amazing ending to the Knives Out trilogy, which is honestly my favorite trilogy since Lord of the Rings. Now coming in at number 8 is Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. I think this was a great introduction to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I just love the world building in this. I love the introduction to Frodo, Sam, Gandalf, Aragorn, and Howard Shore's score was absolutely beautiful. Overall, Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring is a phenomenal film and is my number 8 favorite film on this list. Now coming in at number 7 is Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I know a lot of people were disappointed in this film, but for me, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great finale to the Mission Impossible franchise, if this really is the final film. And the action in this was just amazing. The final plane sequence was just stunning. Overall, I just had an amazing experience watching this in the 4DX opening night. And yeah, this is one of my all-time great theater experiences. So yeah, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is an amazing movie, and it was a great finale to the Mission Impossible franchise. If this really is the final film, I was more than satisfied. Now coming in at number 6 is Mission Impossible Fallout, which I like a little bit more than Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, but they're both pretty much neck and neck for me. I mean, Henry Cavill was an amazing villain, and he would probably be my second favorite villain in the franchise. And I just love the action in this, and I mean, the team dynamic was all great, and this film is just so entertaining. I mean, Mission Impossible Fallout's just an amazing movie. Now, coming in at number 5 is The Godfather. Now, I think, objectively speaking, it's probably the number 2 best film on this list. It's just I prefer the others more. However, it's still an amazing movie, and Francis Ford Coppola's directing was just amazing. Mario Puzo's script was great. The acting was just absolutely phenomenal. And Michael Corleone's arc was great. Vito Corleone was a great character, and Marlon Brando just gave an all-time great acting performance. I mean, overall, what is there really to say about The Godfather that hasn't already been said? It's an amazing movie, and it's one of the all-time great movies. Now, coming in at number 4 is The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back, for me, is definitely the best Star Wars movie, and it's just one of the best movies of all time. I love how it just took everything great about New Hope and elevated it. I mean, Luke's journey in this was great, and the stuff with Yoda and Dagobah was awesome. The Han and Leia romance was awesome. Darth Vader was at his absolute best in this. I mean, the final battle with Luke and Vader was just amazing, and I am your father, one of the best quotes in cinema history. And by the end of the film, the villains won, the heroes lost, and you had to wait 3 years to find out what happened next, which must have been very brutal in 1980. But yeah, I mean, The Empire Strikes Back, it's a phenomenal movie, and it's my number 4 favorite film on this list. Now coming in at number 3 is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. What an absolute beautiful finale this is to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is my personal favorite trilogy of all time. I mean, the world building throughout all 3 was great, and just every character's arc ended beautifully in this. And we just don't get movies like this these days where it's just all practical like this. And I mean, Gandalf, I mean, he is one of my favorite characters of all time, and he was amazing in this. And I mean, Sam and Frodo were amazing. Gollum was amazing. Also, the opening with, I mean, Smeagol becoming Gollum was absolutely disturbing, but it was an amazing opening. And the final battle was one of my 3 to 5 favorite final battles of all time. I mean, overall, this film is just absolutely beautiful, and it is one of my favorite films of all time. Now, coming in at number 2 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Words cannot describe how I felt leaving the theater after seeing this film. This is my favorite Mission Impossible film, and this is arguably my favorite action movie of all time. It's just pretty phenomenal, and this is how you do a part 1. It was just an amazing part 1. And I thought the action in this was great. The emotion I felt after leaving the theater was just at an all-time high. And Ilsa's death was definitely very sad, but I think it was a great moment for Ethan Hunt's character. And I do think Haley Atwell was a really nice addition. I really liked Eastside Morales as Gabe, who I thought was also a great villain in this. And the final battle was just absolutely amazing. In the train sequence, and Ethan Hunt riding Mosaic off the cliff, it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, this is an amazing movie, and it is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's my number 2 favorite film on this list. But coming in at number 1 is The Godfather Part 2. This is the greatest sequel of all time. It takes everything great about the first one and just elevates it. I will also just say that this is also the greatest prequel of all time, because it manages to both be a prequel and a sequel. And the prequel elements in this with like Robert De Niro as young Vito Corleone, it's my absolute favorite stuff in cinema history. It's just absolutely phenomenal. The ending is one of my 3 favorite endings of all time. I will just say The Godfather Part 2, The Godfather Part 2 is just my second favorite movie of all time behind this film. I mean, Robert De Niro's acting was just the best acting performance of all time, in my opinion. I thought Al Pacino was even better than he was in the first film. I loved Lee Strasberg as Hyman Roth. And the dynamic between Fredo and Michael Corleone I thought was very compelling. So yeah, I mean, The Godfather Part 2 does everything right. It's one of the best movies of all time, and it is the greatest sequel, and it's my favorite film on this list. Now, thanks for watching. Feel free to share your ranking of these 31 films down below in the comments, and this is day 41 of my 200-day posting streak goal. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.